May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the stress we put on our mind and body directly impacts our heart health. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women and men, even above cancer. Joining us now is cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Alex Kharazi. And Dr. Kharazi, first let's just start off. You just actually won the American Heart Association's Women of Impact Award. How did you get involved with this nonprofit and the work that you did to again, earn that praise?
Chris, thank you for having me. This has meant a lot to me, actually, because through my work as a surgeon, I got to see firsthand how people were impacted by heart disease, but I would see them at the very end stages of their disease. So when the complication actually was already caused, and I had to fix it in the operating room. So I really wanted to make it come full circle and go to the community directly and show the unique vantage point that I had and what could we do to prevent this.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, they hear a lot about heart and the relationship with stress. And there's all of these stressors in our lives for everybody from parents to students. And age doesn't really get in the way of stress. So how does stress and the heart play together and sort of also how does it, again, harm the heart?
Yeah, so everything's connected. And as you mentioned, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of men and women in the United States annually. So we're always looking at the risk factors and assessing what can we do. And stress is a modifiable risk factor, which means that we can do something about it. And it's really twofold. So on one hand, stress itself causes hormonal dysregulation. So it causes imbalances in catecholamine and cortisol levels. So basically these hormonal imbalances that can directly affect the vascular system and negatively affect the heart, particularly over time. And on the other side of all of that, it can also increase these behaviors that negatively affect heart health. For example, when people are stressed, they tend to drink more, they tend to smoke or abuse other substances and binge eat, and all of those things play into negatively affecting not just our heart, but our overall body. So it's that mind-body connection.
Before we came on air, we were having a little fun conversation about sleep. Sleep plays a role too, and is that because a lack of sleep leads to maybe more stress, therefore more stress on the heart, so forth?
Yes, that's one of the things for sure. And I think that when we rest, really everything resets.
Yeah.
And our body actually is able to benefit from that. And also when we're not sleeping, we're not resting, we tend to replace those behaviors with other harmful behaviors that can negatively affect us.
So why is it so important to find a way to reduce stress in your life?
I think with stress, #1, you're able to, first of all, modify that risk factor that's really harmful for our overall heart health. So that's the first thing. And you can really make a big difference and a big dent in that. And so for me, being a mom and a surgeon and doing all this stuff in the community, I'm very busy. And I'm always saying, I don't want to think about it like sometimes you think about getting stressed and you get even more stressed thinking about how stress negatively affects your heart health. And I try not to think about it that way. I try to always reframe. So what are some things I can do every single day? What are some little things I can do to do something good for my body, to reduce my stress? Can I walk a little bit more? Can I do one dopamine increasing activity? Can I go rollerblading with my daughter? And sometimes I have so many things to do that I don't get everything done on my to-do list. So I have a to-done list, for example. I'm like, okay, at the end of the night, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to focus on things I didn't do, but I'm going to, here are all the things I did. I did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I took my daughter to a party. I did, all this prep work. And then I did, I was looking at all my cases, finishing my notes. And I said, wow, I really accomplished so much. And then the rest, it can get taken care of. And just that gentle reframe can work wonders for our mental health.
Flipping the conversation to work for you. So, doctor, if people are listening to this conversation right now and they want to learn more, are there places where they can find you?
Absolutely. So my website, www.alexkharazi.com. And if you just Google me, I'm there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Kharazi, thank you so much for joining us here today on an important topic.